Hi, welcome back. We'll carry on where we left off, and we're going to draw the west elevation of the Casa Gaspar house. You can see here this is the finished drawing, and what we're trying to get across here is the kind of depth. So we have a strong ground line, we have the main form of the building picked out here, and then we've got items receding into the background. So we've got a light. We're going to have a lighter line for the house portion that's further back, and then even thinner lines for the trees as well. Okay, so as before, what I've done is prepared a kind of a diagram to show you what it is we're going to draw. Okay, so we've got this kind of external view. This is the west side of the house, and first thing we'll establish kind of a ground line, and then the primary shape of the elevation. Okay, and then we've got these kind of secondary shapes. Okay, so usually these are going to be openings, might be colonnades, things like that. Okay, then we're looking at the thin line for more for detail and for the items that are further back. So we've got this bit that's projecting upwards behind. We've got the tops of the trees, which we're going to see as well, and then we've got kind of detail of wood paneling or whatever on the doors, little door handle, etc. Okay, then even further back, what we'll do is we'll have a very thin line, and we'll have some trees kind of behind the building, give it a bit of a depth. There is a kind of a tree area that wraps around on two sides. Okay, but as with the section, we can indicate a bit of hidden information as well. So what I've got here is a version of the rendering with the external wall taken away. And so what I think would be important would be just to show these features, these two kind of wall features, because they're quite close, they're pretty prominent, but also the shape of the floor and the wall inside. So that's this kind of dashed line wrapping around. So if I take that away, that'll leave that layer on top of the rest. Okay, so imagine this being kind of rotated and lined up facing you. Now this point here is going to line up with that. Okay, the way the perspective works. Okay, so hopefully you kind of get the idea of what it is we're going to draw, and we can get started with Autocad. So at the moment I'm in the start elevation drawing, so we've got the section drawn down here. The elevation is going to be drawn on at the side of the plan here, in line with the side of the building. So I'm not going to pick up the plan and rotate the plan. I'm going to change the coordinate system so that we're facing the plan in the correct way. Okay, so we need to create a few layers here to work with. So let's get stuck in. Actually, I'll type in the layers. No need to sit and watch me type layers in. I'll just pause the video and come back when the layers are typed in. Okay, the Autocad layers list works in alphabetical order, so this isn't the order that we're going to kind of draw. So we would start off with the ground line, magenta, so that'll be a 0.7mm pen. Then we'd do our primary shapes. The white for that layer, that'll be 0.45mm pen. Secondary shapes 0.25, and then thin and hidden will both use 0.1mm, and then very thin in the far distance using red, which will tweak the CTB file so that the red is 0.05mm, very thin. Okay, so that's ready to use, and we'll start off with the ground line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just draw a line across the front here, just a simple line, Okay, just take that down. Okay, and I'm going to extend it a little bit here. And for the height of trees that we're bringing in, we need 20 meters clear from the building. Okay, so if we offset that by 20,000, okay, then the elevation and the trees are going to fit in here quite comfortably. Okay, we don't need to keep that now, it's just to help us get the right distance away. Now, at the moment, my coordinate system icon is showing. It's sitting here at 0, 0. So the X is running this way and the Y is running that way. For me to work on this side, I need the X to run this way and Y to run this way. And this line can help us with that. If we didn't use the line, we'd have to rotate around the Z axis, the one that we can't see. Okay, but a simpler way is to use the UCS object option. So the command is UCS, enter, pick the object option, pick this line, and you can see now that X is going to run down the way and Y is going to run to the right. Okay, and now you follow that up with the plan command. So plan and enter twice. And we're now facing the building in the correct orientation. Okay, what we can do here is kind of copy quite a lot of this and use it. So if we, oops, that's the circle, want to copy, so copy everything here. Let's just take it over here just now and rotate it. So we can find an endpoint and rotate it. We can get rid of the solid fill, we don't need that again. Okay, the trees are going to be coming back in later, so we can get rid of those. Same with the people and the vehicle. Okay, we won't be able to see the water or the pool, so they can be deleted. Okay, so that kind of gives us something to start with. A bit more solid fill here that we don't need. We could probably get rid of this door detail material as well. And those hidden lines, let's just get rid of those. Okay, there's a few bits of scrappy line here. We'll lose those too. Okay, so what we'll do is just move that actually. If we move it, well, we could use be a bit more accurate with this. We could take a line from the corner of the building, perpendicular, and we can place our section down there. So let's move from this point to this point. Okay, so let's take away this line and leave, we don't want lines on top of lines, and we don't need this now either. Okay, so let's start with a kind of primary shape, which would be this rectangle. Okay, the ground line, actually, if we delete this and this, there's our ground line. Okay, check the layer that it's on. So that's on section heavy at the moment. So we're going to have to do a bit of changing of layers. So click that and put it onto elevation ground line. It's a bit awkward when it's the same colour, I do understand. Okay, these green lines, we're not going to use those, so we can get rid of those. Taking this away, and then I'm going to extend this line to the ground line, but this one to the floor line. Okay, I'll try and do that at the other side as well. Let's get it looking the same. So we'll extend this to the wall, and we can tidy up this side as well. Okay, so these three lines are going to go onto the hidden layer. So let's just pop those onto that just now, because they're just out of view, they're just behind the wall. So elevation hidden. I always was taught it was good practice to kind of show, you know, where floor lines are on elevations and sections, so you know people can understand, you know, the level changes even inside the building when you look at it from outside. Okay, we've got a few too many lines across the top here. We only need one in the end, so let's keep this little one and then extend it right the way across. Okay, so these three pink lines are going to go onto elevation primary shapes. Okay, it's starting to build up already. Let's get the main lump of the accommodation in. Now we have to be a little bit clever here, so I'm going to hide the hatch pattern. Okay, so at ground floor the walls at either end of the building are 450 thick. Okay, at this position, this accommodation is lower. It's not as high as the stuff in the middle. So there's a change in wall thickness here and here above head height. Okay, so what we really need to do is offset this line to this side by 450, offset this line to this side by 450. So offset 450, enter. Take this line to the left, take this line to the right, and then let's move those two down. So pick, enter. Base point can be anywhere, and let's just slide them down till they go through our primary shape. Okay, so bit of tidying up again. I'm just going to use the grips. So pull that across, pull this across, escape. We can trim those off, or we could have used fillet. Escape, and then this is for the bin. So is this, so is this, and actually we may as well take a fair bit of that. So you know we've got it, you know, stripped back pretty quickly to the main components. These three lines want to go onto the elevation thin layer because they're further away. Okay, right, we've got now to consider these two openings. We've got the garage door and the main entrance, so let's project lines down from there. Let's change layers, so we're on the elevation secondary layer. Line, just pull those down. I'm going to hit that hidden line. Okay, let's go here, side of the door. Yeah. That's coinciding with an object that's already there, so let's just delete that. Okay, just to be on the safe side. From this side of the door, perpendicular. Now the door openings are 2.1 meters, so we could use this line and we could use this one. So let's fillet this to here, enter, fillet that to that. Okay, fillet this to here, fillet this to that. Okay, a little bit of layer tidying needed. Okay, these two want to go onto elevation secondary. Okay, at this point we would see the floor, so it wouldn't be a dashed line between these two sets of yellow lines. So let's trim those out and replace them with yellow. Does that make sense? So they're more definite openings. Okay, we've got a little bit of ramp detail to put on, so I think we'll stick with the yellow for this. So we'll pull the line down, go perpendicular, then up to the corner. Okay, got to do that a number of times. So line, okay, perpendicular, up to the corner. I think the ramps are the same width and size, but I'll just draw a line anyway. It's probably just about as quick as copying. Perpendicular, back. Okay, these two have done their job, they can go. So you don't get many buildings as simple as this, do you? There's not much more to do. Okay, well, we do want to put in the door frames here, so let's offset those by 50. Okay, so offset them and then fillet, keep filleting. Okay, and they're not quite as important as the actual hard opening, so we'll put these onto the thin layer, elevation thin. Okay, the last job for us is to do the hidden information. So let's change to the hidden, and we'll be bringing a line down from here, here and here. These are all, this side is already in line with the door opening, so there's no need to draw a line down from that. So a line down, perpendicular. Okay, same on this side. Oops, I'll just keep going. And then delete that. A line down from here, perpendicular. And then these walls stop at 2.1 meters, so we can use the top of the door as a guide. And then either trim or fillet. The way the new trim works, you're sometimes probably a bit quicker to use fillet, because every line becomes a cutter with the new version of trim. Okay, so that's the actual bare bones of the section. We then will insert the entourage. So I'm going to have to browse for this. Blocks from library. Okay, I want my elevation entourage. And open. I do want to choose where it goes. Okay, I need to wait a few seconds for the icon to appear. Then right click, insert and explode. And you notice these appear to be facing the wrong way. It's just that when the block was created, the UCS was round away. Okay, so the insertion point is here. Oh, we already got the door frames as part of the block, so actually this is doubling up, so I'm just going to take these away. I didn't think the frames were included, but they are, so there was no need to draw those. So that's looking quite interesting, quite tidy. Okay, now we're in a non-standard UCS here, so if we want to come back and work on this view, then it'd be handy if we kept the UCS ready for use. So if you use the command UCS man, it's short for UCS manager. Okay, you see we've got this unnamed one here. If you right click it, rename to elevation. Well, let's use capitals. Elevation. Okay, set current. Okay. but if we also save this view, we can save the UCS with the view. So view, new view, let's call it, really imaginatively, let's call it elevation. Okay, usually this is folded up. Okay, so pop this down because there's an important tick you need to address here. Pop this down and take this tick off. Okay, so saving the layer snapshot is awkward. You know, it restricts you later. You can't add layers without things getting a bit confused. But the really useful thing is that it saves the UCS with the view. So we'll OK that. Oh, sorry, take the tick off. Save layer snapshot. OK. Okay, best to just kind of reinforce things here. Just do set current, apply, and OK. So let's just test that that's going to work. So to reset the UCS, you type UCS and enter twice. And to reset the view, you do plan, enter twice. Okay, so what we want to do is go back to this view and change the UCS at the same time, because the UCS has gone back to the world one. Okay, so you just type in the view command, which is just the letter V, is sufficient. There's our view that we saved. Okay, set current, apply, OK. So you notice the UCS has come around with us. We're ready to carry on designing. So, you know, using that kind of method, you could, you know, if you needed to do the north elevation and the east elevation, then you can do those in the same way, and it keeps the elevation or the section, you know, in line with the part of the plan that you're dealing with. And you know, right at the end, you know, once the building's completely designed and is not likely to change again, you could, if you wanted to, rotate the elevations, but you know, that's optional. Okay, so putting it back to normal again, with UCS, enter twice, plan, enter twice. Okay, and that's our section elevation and plan now finished. The next video will cover the what we do with the layout, and we'll also look at the axonometric type setup.